Hey, everybody, on today's episode of Locked On Bama, we're going to talk about Alabama's big transfer commitment. Jimmy's also going to break down 5 players that you need to keep an eye on for A-Day game, and an Alabama player on the basketball side enters the transfer portal again. So we'll talk about that and more on today's Locked On Bama.
Are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back into Locked On Bama. Luke Robinson, that's me. Jimmy Stein, that's him. Jimmy, how are you today?
I'm doing great, man. There is a lot going on. I mean, it's freaking Tuesday in April, and I don't think we can fit everything in a 20-minute show.
Going to be tough, but, persevere we shall. Jimmy, first of all, let's lead with Tyler Steen. The transfer from Vanderbilt has committed to Alabama officially. This is something we've been saying will happen for quite some time, and now he's officially doing it. And, I think it's a great move. He was listed, I want to say, by 24/7 or somewhere like that as the 5th best available transfer. And, I know he played at Vanderbilt, but, if there's anything we know about an offensive lineman at Vanderbilt, he's been through the ringer.
He certainly has faced adversity. That's true. I've mentioned this before on the show. People are tired, but it's just the best evidence we have. When I knew Alabama was serious about Tyler Steen, and Tyler Steen was serious about Alabama, I went to YouTube and watched I watched Georgia play Vanderbilt. I doubt that's a game I watched in the regular season a year ago. Certainly wouldn't have remembered the matchup between Vanderbilt's left tackle and their front seven. But that's what I wanted to see, because I don't care who Alabama plays this fall. Alabama will not play anyone this fall. And I'll go ahead and say this. Alabama won't play anyone this fall or face anyone in this year's playoff that has the front seven that Georgia had a year ago. So I'm like, if Tyler Steen can hold his own against last year's Georgia Bulldogs, he can play at Alabama. And he did. He did. Now, I only watched, I think, the first half, because the game was just so outrageously. I think it was something like 66-0, and I'm not even making that up. It was something like that. Vanderbilt's offensive line was hammered snap after snap, other than Steen. Now, I don't want to exaggerate here and mislead. Tyler Steen did not line up and mow over Jordan Davis or Quay Walker or Jalen Carter or Travon Walker, any of those freaks that they have. He wasn't steamrolling anybody, but he effectively blocked his man in every snap I watched. I mean, he effectively did it. Hey, even if you assume the fetal position and someone trips over you, you've done your job. And I'm not saying he did that either. I'm just saying Georgia did not whip Tyler Steen. They did whip Vanderbilt. So I'm excited to land him. I believe this is Alabama's left tackle this fall, and it helps solidify the offensive line. Is he Evan Neal? He is not. No one needs to compare this transfer portal pickup to when we got Gibbs or Burton or Ricks. I think those guys are high-level NFL prospects. I'm not sure I would put Steen in that category, but this is all he needs to be, an improvement over what we currently have. I believe that he is. I think you're muted,
Bob.
I
was muted. Okay. I did it again. I did it with John Garcia. I just did it with you. I'm trying to be polite. And
hey, it's not like the time I dropped the phone in the garbage can.
No, that's true. Anyway, yeah, Steen, look, I know you said he didn't steamroll anybody for Georgia. Maybe he steamrolled them. Can we use that?
Steamroller. The steamroller. I've got an NIL t-shirt. Me and you should do that. We would be good at coming up with stupid ass t-shirts that are funny to us and maybe one other person, so we could sell the t-shirt to this one other person that thinks we're funny. But we could come up with t-shirts that we could sell.
We're doing that.
That's nice.
I'm doing that immediately. Maybe an emergency podcast of nicknames. That's going to be, this is going to be
We could put
dynamite.
That's a good idea. This is a good
It's going to
idea.
be lots of money for us.
We could make tens of dollars with this idea.
Well, anyway, I do like Tyler Steen. I think it's great, but I also think you're right. Look, he's the fourth best transfer we're getting this year. Let's not try and paint the picture that he's going to be an All-American. Man, I guess he could be, but if you're asking me to rank our transfers, I'm going Gibbs. I might go Burton now based on practice reports, and then go Ricks.
Ricks has been banged up this spring, so I think it's a little different. I mean, I would go Ricks second easily if healthy, but I don't think we've seen a completely healthy Ricks. And in fact, my understanding is Kyrie Jackson is still running with the ones ahead of Ricks, but I think that's more injury, and he just got here sort of stuff. But no, you're right. Steam would be fourth behind those other three, no doubt.
Let me tell you something that isn't fourth. It's actually first, or something better than first. That's Built Bar. Built Bar, these things are awesome. You need to try the puffs. If you haven't tried them, you're missing out. They're Built Bar's best tasting bars, if you ask me. They're the first ever protein-infused marshmallow. They're fluffy. They're marshmallowy. They're not just a protein bar. They are a treat, and they are covered in 100% real chocolate. Puffs are a fan favorite with some incredible flavors. They got cinnamon churro. They got coconut marshmallow, banana cream pie. All of these are unbelievable. All Built Bars are covered in 100% real chocolate. Yes, even the puffs, 100% real chocolate. 100% real chocolate. I had to say it 3 times so it sunk in with you. Low calorie, high protein. You need to replace that Reese's bar with a Built Bar. That's what you need to do. Go to built.com, use promo code LOCK15, get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCK15 for 15% off at built.com. All right, Jimmy. James Rojas, we'll make this kind of a quick segment. James Rojas of the Alabama Basketball Association has decided to enter the transfer portal. Look, thanks for your contributions. Appreciate it. It didn't work out the way I thought it would. I thought this was going to be one of those dudes. You know how a coach, when they leave like a small school and they come to a big school, they always seem to bring some dude with them that knows the coach, knows what he wants, knows his role very well. I never thought Rojas knew his role very well. And he was out there, and frankly, he was like an ogre most of the time, just sort of banging stuff around and running into stuff, bull in a china shop a lot of times. I will always remember him, though, fondly for his big three-pointer against Mississippi State last year, which helped us clinch the SEC. So I'm not going to dog the guy. He is not an incredible basketball player. He's better than us. He's, in terms of guys that got minutes on last year's team, he was probably the least talented. And that's not an insult. He still played D1 basketball. Congratulations. I appreciate the contributions. I'm also appreciative of the fact that Nate Oates feels like, hey, we can recruit a little bit above this. And I think that's a good move for all parties.
Yeah, I sort of feel about this the same way I felt about maybe Holt and Gary to an extent, although I was a little more disappointed to see Gary go. James Rojas, I mean, this isn't a cheerleader show. We try to be objective here. We're obviously Alabama fans. We want Alabama to do well. We want all of our kids to do well. But we're also a tell it like it is podcast, or I hope we are. And Rojas was not a great player at Alabama. He was a good effort player and tried to provide some leadership in a vacuum, felt like last year, but he's not a great player. In that sense, I'm not devastated that he's gone, nor do I feel like it's going to hurt the program that he's gone. His spot on the roster will more than likely be, he'll be replaced by a better talent, a better player. So I'm not upset that individually Rojas is gone, or that Jaswan Holt is gone, or even really that Juwan Gary is gone, or Alex Chiku, or Keon Ambrose Hilton. But what I'm more upset about is that all of them are gone. And this is my thing. I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer, and we need a better name for that than that. I'm not trying to be that. I'm just trying to say, Luke, is what we are seeing the new normal, which is until there's regulation, every year that we're fielding a basketball team, we have to redo the vast majority of the roster. Every year, it's a brand new 5, it's a brand new 10, it's a brand new 13. Or is this the sign that something was really wrong? And by really wrong, I mean, not players arguing over a girl or something. I mean, like, everyone is leaving. Everyone that played in games is leaving. We're down to like 3 guys who were on the team last year that played in the games. 3: Miles, Bediako, and Gurley. And that is it. Is this the new normal? Or is there a big problem? I think it's fair for people to question that. If there was a big problem, I would tell you guys that there is one, and this is what it is. But I don't know. I just don't like the look of it, but I might need to get used to it. It just might be the new normal.
Yeah, I think that these two aren't mutually exclusive. I think it's a combination. It's going to be the new normal, and there probably was a problem. I mean, you and I have talked about the leadership vacuum this whole year. There just wasn't one. Frankly, nobody stepped up to be a leader, not one person. Now, Javon Quinterly hadn't officially left. I mean, although in my opinion, what he posted on Instagram and Twitter and social media was his goodbye. J.D. Davidson is not officially announced, but I think you're right. In the end, it may be Miles, Bediako, and Gurley left, and that's it. And you know what? I'm kind of okay with it. We got a good class coming in. I love what I see out of dudes like Nick Pringle. I love what I see out of Miller. I just like our whole vibe coming in. And so I'm feeling pretty good about
what's kind of funny about something being wrong. It's not wrong. And this is the funny part to me. And here's some inside scoop, because I've heard it from multiple sources. So since I've heard it from multiple sources, I'm not shy about saying it. If we talk about something wrong and a lack of leadership, and from the fans' perspectives, there was a lot of finger pointing at Quinterly because he clearly was the up and down guy, disappeared at times, couldn't hit shots, missed free throws late. People sort of looked to him for the leadership that didn't seem to be there. I'm just saying Quinterly felt like the guy that was pointed at in terms of like, hey, this is all going wrong. What about this guy, fairly or not? Yet everyone seems to be leaving, and there's all these rumors that, who's going to be the one surprise coming back? Quinterly. He's coming back. And I'm like, you got to be kidding. I worry there's this big problem, and he's in the middle of it. Yet, from my understanding, or from rumors I'm hearing, he may be back at the behest of the coaching staff, wanting him back. And to me, it just adds to the weird. Now, that said, would I welcome him back? I would. I would be very excited to have Javon Quinterly, a healthy Javon Quinterly, back. I don't want him to end his Alabama career on what happened last season. So yeah, I would be excited to have him back. But I'm anticipating not all the fans feeling that way.
And we won't go into this. We'll talk about it later during the summer. But early top 25 came out. I think it was Sports Illustrated. Number 1, Arkansas. Number 2, Kentucky. Number 3, Houston. Number 5, Gonzaga. I think Alabama was 12. Tennessee was 14. Auburn was 16 or 17. So Alabama's already got.
How can they do this without knowing who's coming back?
Because they're like us in the summer when we have a beauty contest with the Alabama football team. They're dying for content. That's what that is.
But I'm just saying, no one can know outside of Nate Oates. No one knows this roster better than me and you. Let's be honest. Outside of Nate, it's Nate that knows the roster well, and then it's me and you. I'm joking, people. But what I mean is, we do know Alabama's roster as good as anyone in the media, and I have no effing clue who our 13 players are going to be in the fall. So how can you rank us number 1, number 12, number 25, number 72? It just seems absurdly early when it's before the deadline for underclassmen coming out, and there's 1,000 kids in the portal, and SMU's good player went in the portal yesterday, and who the hell knows?
Good point. Jimmy, I want to tell everybody now about RockAuto. You need to save time and money when using RockAuto. Why in the world do you want to spend an extra 30, 50, even 100% more for the same parts from a chain store or a car dealership when you can get it much, much cheaper at RockAuto? For example, a Honda Odyssey fuel pump is $353 from a chain store, $216 from RockAuto. I mean, that's free money. Take that money and invest it, and then you can buy your next car. RockAuto is a family business serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years. RockAuto prices are reliably low for every single customer. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck. Right, locked on in the How'd You Hear About Us box so they know that we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. RockAuto. All right, Jimmy. We don't, in the interest of time, we're going to just. You wrote an article about 5 guys to keep an eye on at A-Day. So let's just talk about one per segment. So we'll talk about one right now and then do some more in later podcasts. But you start off at the top, and I think this is a guy everybody's going to be watching, Jalen Milroe.
Well, quarterback is always the story, right? Quarterback's always, and we know exactly what we have in Bryce. There's no mystery to Bryce. There's no, I mean, I think we know Bryce is good. Bryce can play poorly Saturday on A-Day, and no one's even going to blink or care. We know exactly how good Bryce Young is. There's no suspense there. We just got to keep Bryce healthy. But the next quarterback everyone's going to be interested in is Milroe and Ty Simpson, because we haven't seen Ty play in person. But Milroe is the more interesting guy because to me he's clearly number 2. To me there is a battle for number 2, but Milroe has a sizable lead. And he's also going to be a little bit of a lightning rod, Luke. I'm anticipating this already. I think we should write this down. I don't think he's going to impress everybody Saturday. I think a lot of fans at the game Saturday will watch him play and go, I don't see it. Other fans will watch Milroe and go, wow. And that's because, and I'm going to be one of the wow people. I already have a real good idea that I will be. And it's because it's still a projection. The Milroe we're going to see Saturday is not the Milroe that will be Alabama's starting quarterback in 2023. He's still, remember how, I mean, I'm going to bring up Hurts all the time with him, and that's because in so many ways they're very similar. But we have to remember how literally each season Hurts was better than he was the year before. He's continued that all the way through the NFL. Every year it's better than he was the year before. And Milroe's going to be the same deal. So the Milroe that will be Alabama's starting quarterback will be 1 year better than the kid we're going to see Saturday. And what I want people to see is the upside, the potential, the athleticism, the arm strength, just the fact he's such a leader and a playmaker. And, hey, and he's so much of the new NFL, which is, you know, you draw the play up, it's defended perfectly. Now what? He runs 70 yards for a touchdown is what? That's what he is. And oh, and by the way, he can also do the plays that are designed to the timing, the 3-step drops and the balls out. He's good at that too. He just needs to continue to develop as a passer. But I would say the same thing about, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, every quarterback in the world needs to continue to effort to improve. So that, you know, Milroe's not alone when it comes to that.
And here's another reason that Milroe might not look as good as people want him to, or the expectation now is crazy high, because it is a tag and you're down quarterback situation.
Correct.
Where he is going to be scrambling all over the place probably. And, you know, he first of all, he's going to be working behind the second team offensive line. And if you want to know something about the second team offensive line, well, we're already we're looking for people in the transfer portal, obviously, on the offensive line. We just got one. So that tells you that our first team offensive line may not be as awesome as we want it to be. Therefore, by definition, the second team won't be as good as we think it should be. So my point is, he's also not going to be throwing to Jahmyr Gibbs probably. He's going to be throwing to somebody else. So he's not going to be working with the first team. He's going to be scrambling more. And if they touch him, he's down. And he's a big dude. So, he's
he wouldn't
fast.
be down in games. He wouldn't be down in games.
Correct. My point is, he's not like, Kyler Murray. Like, he's so small. I mean, if you do even the touch your down thing, he can still kick your ass because you can't touch him. You're going to touch Milroe because he's so big, but he's probably going to run over you in a game. So I think that those are some key points to not lose your mind if Milroe doesn't set the world on fire.
Exactly right. And you made a great point. Playing behind the second team offensive line, and we know the first team struggles. So what do y'all think the second team looks like? Then the second team offensive line, sure, they're going against the second team defense, but who might be on that second team defense in the front seven? Chris Braswell, Deontay Lawson, Justin Aboigbe, Monkel Goodwine, Tim Keenan. These are good players, and it's going to be a lot on that second team offensive line to keep these guys off of Milroe, who's also throwing to not Jermaine Burton, not JoJo Earl, not Trayshawn Holden. He's throwing to these young receivers. So, but again, I want people to look at Milroe as a prospect because that's still what he is, because he's not the starter just yet.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to it. And Jimmy, we'll continue this theme. You've got 4 more dudes to keep an eye on during A-Day. A lot of them are pretty standard fare. I'd say Jalen Milroe was one everybody already thought you'd put down, but there's some other ones on there that are a little bit different. We'll talk about them on the next podcast. So until then, roll tide, everybody.
Roll Tide.